Good evening, my viewers, subscribers. Welcome back to another M&M TV video. And in this one, my viewers and subscribers, it's time for us to take a look. Yes, and the reason how come why the PNP got 4 percentage point in last year's polling, my viewers, subscribers, and after the JLP did film conference in November, yes, issue out a whole heap of goodies, my viewers and subscribers. The JLP could not have gotten a point. My viewers and subscribers, we're going to be hearing a little bit from Sister Diane Jackson Miller. Yes, let's hear a little bit from Sister Diane, and then I'm coming back to reason out some of this because to me it is funny, really funny, that the JLP would have been giving out so much goodies, and of course you have seen some of it, my viewers and subscribers, in the water and write-off that the Water Commission have announced recently. So it is no doubt that the JLP, what they were promising, some of what they were promising in September, in November, in their conference, my viewers, they have now are fulfilling those promises. But the PNP promises a few stuff. But the only thing we can remember from the PNP conference is VYBZ Kartel. So VYBZ Kartel was the reason why the PNP got 4 points in my view in the polling that was done last year September. But let's hear a little bit from Sister Diane Jackson, and then I'll come back and see what is what.
We're getting closer and closer to the general election, so every poll that comes out gets a whole heap of attention, a whole heap of discussion, people looking at it to say what it means. So let's look at what the latest polls have been saying about the party standings, meaning if an election were called, who would Jamaicans vote for? I'm Diane Jackson Miller. Thanks so much for joining me. Time for tea.
Alright, so where we're going to know in the hearing, my viewers, subscribers, from Sister Diane.
The last one that comes out, the one you save for last, is always the big one, the party standings. If an election were called now, would you vote for the Jamaica Labour Party, the People's National Party, or another party? Or is it that you're not voting, or you're not sure? So there are two sets of polls now being reported, and they are not saying the same thing. And of course, that makes everything more interesting, right? Who is right? The latest nationwide Blue Dot polls were carried out from January 21 to February 1, 2025. They said the Jamaica Labour Party had opened up a 6-point lead over the opposition People's National Party. 34% of people polled said they'd vote JLP, 28% for the PNP, 38% undecided. Now this compares to their September 2024 polls when they said both parties were in a statistical dead heat, with 31% saying they'd vote JLP, 28% saying PNP. No, this is not what the RGR Gleaner, Don Anderson polls have been saying. And just as a reminder, I do work for the RGR Gleaner group. I am going to be showing you both sets of polls, so you have the information, you can make up your own mind, but I'm actually concentrating on the RGR Gleaner group, Don Anderson polls. So this is what the RGR Gleaner, Don Anderson polls were saying. They said that the PNP holds a 4.7% lead over the Jamaica Labour Party, and the polling for this particular survey was done from January 30 to February 12, 2025. It has the PNP polling 35.4% to the JLP's 30.7%, uncommitted coming in at 33.9%. Now this compares to the polling in September 2024 when the RGR Gleaner Don Anderson polls reported a 9.1% lead in favor of the PNP, which was polling at 39.3% to the JLP's 30.2%. 30.5% of respondents said they were uncommitted. Now, both parties, both the JLP, the PNP, as well as pollster Don Anderson, have said they think that 9-point lead that the PNP was showing in September 2024 was because the PNP was coming out of its annual conference with all the excitement that creates with the speech by the party leader Mark Golding, and that it gave them a kind of artificial bump.
Yes, my viewers, and this is where I am having a challenge. What presentation did Mark Golding make in September that was earth-shattering? Really, that would have moved him from 5 points to 9. What, my viewers? Somebody can drop that in the comment section and tell me what. Only can remember what did Mark Golding promise in September 2024? How when I get 4 points? It have to be VYBZ Kartel. It have to be VYBZ Kartel. There's no question about that. A VYBZ Kartel give the PNP that 4 points. It can't. Mark will never said nothing on the political platform that we can remember that he not get 4 points for. I can't recall. If I can recall, tell me. Because I don't want to be unfair to Mr. Golding. Yeah, but if I can remember what Mr. Golding said in September, that would have given him that 4 points there. Tell me. But everybody can remember, say, VYBZ Kartel just come out of prison a month ago, a month after, and went there, and everybody was crazy to see VYBZ Kartel. Yes? So there was no question that if the PNP really gets 4 points last September, a cartel will get them. But let's hear some more from Sister Diane Jackson as we continue.
It gave them a kind of artificial bounce. So when you look at the poll that was conducted January into February 2025, you see that the PNP has lost ground. The JLP has actually remained more or less the same, leaving the PNP.
And my viewers, according to what she's reading here, that the PNP have now lost ground in February, 4 points. But remember, my viewers, subscribers, remember, said the JLP have film conference in November. And if we can remember that the Prime Minister said they will cut down the water, people our water right off. Right? Because when the Prime Minister say you cannot forget it. Because you say you get water right off, for certain years, whatever. You get water right off, my viewers. Yes? He also mentioned in that presentation because it is nearer to memory, and because it's a government in power, it's nearer to memory because PNP one was done in September and film one was done in November. But you can remember, viewers, subscribers, that the Prime Minister also said that was cut off 8% of the light bill. Yes, he did say that, and you can so the things that the JLP have done is promising. You can remember them. But yet still, according to Tom Donaldson's poll, that the JLP have not gotten a point in November, my viewers and subscribers, for that kind of work where the JLP have done. Yes? The promises that they make, and as we can see that the Water Commission is now implementing some of these promises that the JLP made. But they not get a point for it. So I don't understand. Somebody, and then the uncommitted was at 30% last year. Now the 3% that the JLP shall get now gone to the uncommitted. So my feels that to me is very, very, very funny. But let's get some more from Sister Diane.
Remain more or less the same, leaving the PNP now less than 5 points ahead of the JLP going into this crucial stage ahead of the general election, which has to be called by September 2025. When you look at the nationwide Blue Dot polls, though, they're saying the JLP has gained 3 percentage points to move from 31% in September 2024 to 34% in January 2025. Nationwide Blue Dot have the...
And my viewers, let us look at this one rationally. Is it not possible that the Blue Dot would have been more correct? Because being that the PNP would have gotten 4 points in their conference, you have to say that the JLP have made some promises that they are now implementing. And according to Amdan poll, they have not gotten a point there. But now, Blue Dot polls, my viewers, is now giving the JLP 3 points in January after, I would have to say from the conference that they kept in November. So perhaps that the 3 points that the JLP should have gotten from Dan Anderson poll, I don't know where it is. But now the Blue Dot, my viewers and subscribers, is telling you that the JLP have gotten that 3 points. If the PNP have gotten 4 points for the opposition leader's speech, and I cannot recall what he said. I cannot recall what promise the opposition leader made. I can't recall it. But everybody can remember that the promise that the JLP sent them all give back, water right off. And promise us them all cut off money off of JPS. Even if you can't remember nothing else, you can remember those two things. You can remember those two things. But you can't remember nothing where Mark Golden said in that presentation. You only can remember VYBZ Kartel. He was the one that gave them the 4 points in my view. Because you only cannot forget VYBZ Kartel. He was on that, he was there at the conference. And the conference was about VYBZ Kartel. Everybody wanted to see VYBZ Kartel. So, I mean, that is my view. Let's get a little bit more from Sister Diane.
The PNP holding steady at 28% in September 2024 and again in January 2025. So the nationwide Blue Dot poll shows the JLP ahead by 6% and the RGR Gleaner Don Anderson poll shows the PNP ahead by 4.7%. These polls took place at about the same time. I don't see any significant events that took place in about that last 2 weeks in January that would have made such a difference in terms of polling. What do I think about them? Well, as I mentioned, I do work with the RGR Gleaner group. So while I'm giving you the information on the nationwide Blue Dot poll so you can make up your own mind, I'm working with the polls from the RGR Gleaner group. Even taking the PNP conference into consideration, I do think we're seeing a tightening of the race. I think the government is starting to do some things that might be.
But I heard my viewers and subscribers, Sister Diane here, is saying that she's still making mention of the PNP conference. And I never hear Sister Diane make any reference about the JLP conference. So I don't understand that part here. I never hear Sister Diane make any at all reference to the JLP conference. But let's hear some more from Sister
having
Diane.
Some impact on voters. For instance, we're seeing now patching of a lot of the roads. And as I said in my video on the JLP problems for 2025, I said that the bad roads, the terrible road conditions were going to be a huge problem for the JLP that they needed to deal with. You can see that video as well as this video on the PNP problems. I'll link them below. I'll also link them at the end of this video. I do think the opposition should be concerned. At this point, the government has a purse. All the opposition can put forward are promises. And if people start to see some of their most annoying problems being dealt with, is that going to influence how they look at their vote and who it is they want to vote for? For instance, look at one of the other poll results coming out from the latest RGR Gleaner Don Anderson polls. People were asked if the country was moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. And 29% of the people polled in January 2025, January into February, said the country was moving in the right direction. This is a 7% increase from September 2024, when 22% of people said the country was moving in the right direction, while the percentage of people who said the country is moving in the wrong direction has fallen from 58% in September 2024 to 47% in January to February 2025. 24% in January to February 2025 said they weren't sure or they didn't answer, compared to 20% in September 2024. Now the JLP also has to be concerned, because 47% of the people polled saying that the country is moving in the wrong direction. That's still nearly half, and they're still polling behind the PNP with time running out now. This is the last budget debate.
Yes, my viewers. So as she's making reference and mention about the people who believe that the country is moving in the wrong direction. It was 58% last year. it is down now to 47%. Yes? So JLP would have gotten some confidence there, because if they were 58% bad and they're now 47% bad, that means it's, they have gotten some point, but yes, still, you have not seen that reflected in Dan Anderson polls. You have not seen that, that move, moving in the pollsters poll. So I mean, I do not understand, where that, how come. But let's hear a little bit more from Sister Dia.
No. This is the last budget debate before the general election. The government and the opposition are going all out. The government dipping into its goodie bag, while the opposition making a bag of promises. Now, I do think it's a pity we can't do what the Americans can do, right? With the bag of polling, the whole heap of polling, monthly polling at this stage even would be really, really good. But polling is really expensive, so the companies tend to save their polls for strategic points, so we can probably, I'm guessing, I have no inside knowledge on this, we probably can expect to see, I would say maybe 2 or 3 more polls, hopefully before the election, with the last one coming probably in the last week before the election is held. So after the budget debate, I think we can expect to see now both parties really doubling down and trying to get their messages out there, especially trying to lure people out of that uncommitted column. We do traditionally see the uncommitted column shrink the closer you get to an actual election, and when people say, oh, there's actually an election, and they start to make up their mind as to who it is they really want to vote for. The issue of people not voting at all, voter apathy, that's a real problem for us as well, and I'll do a separate video in a little while looking at that particular issue. So there's still a lot that can change. Neither party can afford to get complacent. Of course, once you have the election announcement made, then it's a race to the finish line. But even before the election announcement is made, though, we've started to see stepped up campaigning. Door-to-door campaigning is now going on. After the election announcement, now there are different things we're going to see. We're going to see the ads bombarding us on traditional as well as social media. We're going to see the political debates. The parties are already in talks with that. On that, the Debates Commission has already started to do work on that. We normally see a debate on financial issues, a debate on social issues, and of course, the leadership debate. So,
yes, my viewers. So there you have it from Sister Dion. It is just instructive that Dan Anderson polling, it just beat my brain still, my viewers, subscribers, that after the jail, I mean, I didn't hear Sister Diane make any reference to the JLP conference that held in November. Yes, I didn't hear Sister Diane at all making any reference on the JLP conference that was held in November. But so in that view, my viewers and subscribers, that the blue that poll gave the JLP a 3 points, perhaps that was coming off the conference, because it have to be coming off the conference, where they would have gotten that 3 points from in the blue that polls, but you don't get none. The Dan Anderson poll did not give them 1%. Even that big conference that was kept, yeah, never get 1, but the PNP can get 4, and I am very sure it was all because of VYBZ Kartel. It was Kartel's factor. He was the one that pulled the crowd. He was the one that the people was coming forward to really see. Because as I can recall, my viewers and subscribers, when Kartel left out of jail, it was like a national holiday. Yes? Everybody wanted to see their world boss, my viewers and subscribers. So for those of them who did not see him, they know that Kartel was coming to the PNP conference. So, they would have ensured that they went there to see him. The only thing would have disappointed the PNP supporters that was there, that, on that conference, was that Kartel did not get to perform. But it was a cartel show. The PNP conference that was kept in September, without doubt, was a cartel show. A cartel was the one that bring out the vote, the people on that show, because we cannot recall what Mark Golding says that he got 4 points for, because I just can't remember, and I do not want to be. I'm just not dishonest. I just can't remember what Mark Golding said. That lodged in the brain. So yes, and this Mark Golding then say, what do, making get them points here. But yes, still JLP can promise you, they will cut down water and take off GCT to a certain percentage of a light bill. So you can remember, I am sure there's other things, but those are the two things that stand out in my mind. Because I who is a person who pay light bill, I want to see that reduction of my light bill. So that's gonna stand out with me. So if not else to stand out, that will. Because many of us who have been paying this high light bill over the years, we want, as whatever kind of reduction we can get is welcome. So that's going to be remembered. So my viewers, drop your comments as it relates to Sister Diane reasoning and mine, yes, and the poll, the two polls, to compare them, to tell us where the nations are headed, yes. So until another video, my viewer, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, yes. So until then, good afternoon.